Okay, so this is DISC part 3. And we initially only planned to do 2 weeks of this, but there's one more section of this profile that I really wanted everyone to understand. So we're going to go over it. And, we've talked a little bit about DISC and what it means. It's not to pigeonhole people, it's not to put people in a box or pick them apart or make them feel like they're charted. It's a behavior system that you can learn that will help you to understand personalities, especially your own, and help you become more relatable with others. It's a completely others focused thing when you look at it the proper way and put it in that light. Now, the past 2 weeks have been recorded. They are on my YouTube channel, which is Laura Santos 50, I think, something like that, or some, Laura Santos 11, maybe. I can't remember. But it's Laura Santos. You can find it on Laura Santos, and I'm making all of these videos public so that you can share them with your friends or your new team members when they come in. And so what we've done is we've been using a book called the Adult Profile that was developed by Personality Insights, and you can get this at personalityinsights.com. And inside the inside flap is an assessment that you take that where you scrape off the little things just like a lotto scratcher and then you add up your symbols to make a chart that tells you about yourself. And we've done that over the past couple of weeks. Last week, we talked a little bit more about the DISC graphs and the different graph types and what they are. And I read about the different personality styles to you. And this week, we're going to finish it out with talking about our own personality styles. Now, on our unit Facebook group are a copy of the pages you would need to do all of this in, and they are in our private group because it's something it's copyrighted. So they're in our private group. So if you're watching this video and you're not in our group, you're not going to get it. I would encourage you to order the book, but we do have it. I love having the book. Like I said, I do have another copy if anybody needs one. I have one in my office. And what we're going to do today is we're going to take the Graph 2 Basic Style that was on page, this one here, your Graph 2 Basic Style, and we're going to be putting it into the how to describe my style. And you know what? I'm going to go really quickly. I did not have that pulled up for us today, but I'm going to look and see if I can pull it up really quickly. Describe my style. I think this is it. All right, I'm opening 2 documents and I'm going to share those with you when they come up. They are on their side, but yes, I have them. Okay. Let me back down. Okay. I've got it. So I can show it. I can share it. It's going to be on its side, so I can't really show the main thing, but this is what we're talking about here. So this is this sheet that you would want to have if you are doing this. So that's the one you need in front of you right now. Okay. Okay. So what you do is you take your Graph 2 Basic Style, and then if your D letter is in the highest segment, you would circle the very high segment of words. And that they're the same thing with the I. And so you look at which segment of the graph you are in, and then you circle those words. And in one of mine, it is in the average segment in the middle, and it has a dashed line. And so you would circle the words that are on the portion of the segment where your personality blend falls after you take that. And then you can read those words, and it helps you to better understand yourself. So the like my words are dominant, driving, demanding, ambitious, directing, and pioneering. inspiring, political, persuasive, magnetic, stimulating, and impulsive, testing, changeable, energetic, reactionary, dynamic, and spontaneous, and self-affirmed, instinctive, and self-convinced. And so once you've done this and you know your words, you kind of get a better, for me, it helps me to say, okay, well, what is there anything in there that I really don't like the sound of? It all sounds like me, but what do I want to work on as a person? If that word hits a tender spot in my heart, I'm like, you know what? I want to be less reactionary. I don't want to be reactive to things. I want to be more cautious and careful as I go through life. And so I can work on myself on those things. It's something that helps us to know ourselves better. Then the other thing you're going to do from the other piece of paper that from page, if you have the book, it's on pages, I think 10, 11, something like that. Nope, that was 10 and 11 we just did. On 12 and 13, you go through and you check in the quadrants where your number 2 graph style are. You check the words or the phrases that are something that are like what you are like. And so it takes a little bit of time to go through here and do that and understand it. And once you've done that and you've checked those off, you write a statement. You pick the 2 or 3 phrases on your I like statements that most reflect what you do like. And then you pick the 2 or 3 statements on the I don't like and write yourself a little sentence. And so I did mine, for example, and I wrote myself a thing about what I like. I like making quick decisions, a challenge, and to make things fun. I don't like routine and repetition and waiting on someone. Those are the things that are really hard for me. And so I went through there and I looked and I thought, well, what are the most like me and what is the thing I like the least? And that's what I do. So it drives me crazy if I am at lunch meeting a friend and she's running 15 minutes late. I just, like, it's one of my pet peeves. So, you know what bothers you. And so you can fill this out for yourself, and then you have those statements about yourself. But as we are wrapping this series up for the DIS and C, I believe that the most important thing we do is knowing ourselves better, is knowing who we are, how we think, how we operate, and then learning how to become relatable to others in light of how we are thinking about ourselves, and being aware that everyone thinks and behaves differently depending on how they're wired. And no 2 people are really wired exactly the same way. It's what makes us unique. And so what I want to do before we close this out is I'm going to read you the page from each of the main pieces of the D, I, S, and C that we haven't read yet. Just a final summary of the different 4 personality types and what you can expect from them. So, and what they're best at, because, from a standpoint of what we do, we're looking for people that hold traits that we're looking for on our team that are going to complement our style blend. And so the D, understanding that D type personality, the D personality on the assessment has an exclamation mark, because the D, that is depicting the D, because the D type is emphatic in everything. You'll notice that the D is in the upper left-hand quadrant of that chart that we did a few weeks ago. And in their little circle of it, they have it in the green. Hang on. They have it in the green circle. And if you get the book, you'll see that too. And that's because green means go. It's a green light. So 6 key traits or characteristics describing the outgoing, task-oriented D-type personality is dominant, direct, demanding, decisive, determined, and doer. The D-type personality is good at, here's what they're good at: overcoming obstacles, seeing the big picture, pushing the group ahead, accepting challenges without fear, maintaining focus on goals, getting results, providing leadership, and handling several jobs at the same time. The I personality is depicted in all of this with a star because their little motto is let the good times roll. There is a style blend chart, and their personality style will be fun. And they use the star to depict the I because the I type loves to be the star of the show. And you'll notice that the I is in the upper right hand quadrant of the circle. And red is the color they used for that because it is fiery and exciting and shouts, hey, look at me. 6 key traits or characteristics describe the outgoing, people-oriented I-type person: inspiring, influencing, impressionable, interactive, impressive, and involved. The I-type is good at speaking persuasively, responding well to surprises, expressing ideas, accepting new people, creating enthusiasm, working well with others, having a sense of humor, and keeping a positive attitude. The S style blend personality, their motto, if they had one, would be working together, we can do it. They have a plus minus sign on the assessment because they're flexible and willing to respond more or less the way you might ask them to. The style blend chart for them is their personal style is kind and considerate. You'll notice that the S is in the lower right-hand quadrant of that circle. Blue is the color for the S because it is peaceful, harmonious color, just like the color of the sky. And 6 key traits or characteristics describe the reserved, people-oriented S type: supportive, stable, steady, sweet, status quo, and shy. The S type is good at showing sincerity, being even-tempered, emphasizing loyalty, building relationships, seeing an easier way to do things, providing dependability, being a team player, and making others feel accepted. And then finally, that understanding that C type of the different style blends. The C has a question mark to depict the C type because the C type loves to question everything. The C's motto, if they had one, would be don't show all your cards. And the style blend chart just for that is that their personal style will be accurate. The C type is in the lower left quadrant of the circle, and yellow is their color that they designate the C for because it means caution, like the yellow in a traffic light. It also reminds us of the radiant energy of the sun, so it pictures the intensity of the C type. 6 key traits or characteristics describe the reserved and task-oriented C-type person: cautious, calculating, competent, conscientious, contemplative, and careful. The C-type is good at working systematically, being conscientious, maintaining their focus, analyzing obstacles, striving for logical results, organizing material, thinking logically, and evaluating situations. So when you're working systematically on building your team or working with a hostess or working with a customer, you can always go back to these charts and take a look at it and see, well, what type of personality do I think they have? And especially when you're looking for team members, what traits or qualities am I lacking in that I want on my team because it doesn't come naturally to me, or it's something that's difficult for me? It's something that you can use to be strategic with your team building and being on purpose about what you're looking for. I believe that we do not have because we do not ask. And I believe when we are on purpose about looking for specific things, we find it. I'm always looking for people who are strong in the things I'm weak at. That would be very detail-oriented people, people who are very good at repetitive tasks, people that are good at all the things where I just have weakness in. And that has served me well throughout my entire career since I switched over and went to a place where that is how I'm working more strategically. So this was our final class on DISC. I wanted it to feel more full circle, and it really does tonight. But before we end it, I do want to do some question and answer things with the consultants who are live in this meeting. So I'm going to stop the recording for everyone who's watching the video and say thank you for taking the journey with us and learning more about how to be more relatable with others, how to strategically look for the team members that you want on your team, and how to be more strategic about how you relate with the world around you.